Hey everybody, Chris with Wallowa Hikes, and are you afraid of the dark? Well, even if you're not, it's going to be dark out there when you're backpacking because the sun goes down and then it gets dark. That's kind of what happens. So you're probably going to want some kind of a light. Do you have to have a light? No. Is it a good idea? Absolutely. It's hard to get up and go pee in the middle of the night in the dark. It's hard to hike in the dark, and that may happen for you as well. You know, things happen. Sometimes you take longer than you think you're going to take to get where you're going, and it can get dark on you. Or you may be getting a really early start before the sun comes up, and you're going to want to be able to see. And definitely around camp at night, it really helps to have a light. So, guess you need a headlamp, right? Well, that's what everybody else uses, so I guess that's what you need. But actually, not necessarily. Headlamp's a great idea. I was very resistant to the idea of a headlamp for years. I thought they were goofy. I thought they were kind of stupid. I just had a tiny little flashlight, and that was fine for me. The idea of a headlamp is it keeps your hands free for other stuff. That's great. I'm generally not doing anything too complicated like brain surgery while I need a light at camp in the middle of the night. So typically I don't really need both my hands free, but it does happen, and a headlamp is a nice way to compensate for that. So you need a light. Don't take a flashlight like this. This is super heavy. It's not necessary because there are smaller, better things, but a flashlight isn't the worst idea. You don't have to buy a headlamp. There's all kinds of flashlights, and these tiny little things you can get for next to nothing almost everywhere. I have probably a dozen of these laying around in the garage in the house, and it's not super heavy. Takes AAA batteries, and these guys are really bright, right? And great for campfire stories. So you can take a flashlight. That's fine. If you take a flashlight, you know, find the lightest one you can get, because the less weight you carry, the more comfortable you're going to be. There are other options. And before we get into headlamps, this was gifted to me from my mother. And this is a little clip light. And this can go actually on the brim of your hat or wherever. You can clip it to other spots in the camp, hang it in your tent, whatever, but it goes on here and works just like a headlamp would. Try not to stare into the eyes of your fellow backpackers at night, because this goes right in there and it's really annoying. So that'll be on our list of stuff not to do. And yes, most people take a headlamp. Now, when I finally decided to get a headlamp, I went on Amazon, and I didn't want something that takes batteries, and I didn't want something that was really expensive. And what I found ended up being something that became very popular with backpackers. But this is a Nitecore headlamp, and this is, I believe, the NU20. So this is an older headlamp. They don't make this anymore. I could upgrade, but it works great. And often in the name of saving weight, I just took this piece. Easy to lose, but it works just fine around camp. It's also set up so that it won't accidentally turn on. You actually have to move it out like this, because the last thing you want when you get out there is a headlamp that's been on all day while you're backpacking because it turned on accidentally. So this has 3 different settings, and of course, the brighter it is, the faster it'll burn batteries, but this lasts for a very long time. I ended up buying this when I got permits to summit Mount Whitney. And doing that means getting up before the sun comes up. And so I purchased this. And actually used it on the lowest setting, over 99 switchbacks in the dark, and it worked great. But I wasn't using that long. I could have definitely used the brighter settings. And again, super bright, right? So this is a really good option, and it just charges like your phone or your other accessories with the little micro USB. So this works really well. Now, it comes with a strap for your head. So when it's attached to the strap, then it just goes over your head. Or if, you know, you're climbing a mountain over your helmet, that will have little clips for this. But the idea is that it goes on your head, you adjust it to fit, and then your hands free. And if you're alone out there, this works really great. If you're with other people, do not stare into their eyes while you're talking to them, because you will blind them, and that's very annoying. But headlamp, really great idea. Again, they do not make this particular model anymore. Currently the NU25, I believe, is their newest, and it has a red light and different features, and I'm sure it's great. I don't see a point in buying another one just because there's a newer, better one. But Nitecore, really great. I love the idea that you don't need batteries, and that you can just plug this into the wall and charge it, and this has never gone dead on me while I'm out there. And I was out there for a lot of nights with this thing. So really helpful when you get up in the middle of the night, if you need to use the restroom. Not that there's a restroom where you are, but you know what I mean. But having a light is good. These are super light. Again, the strap weighs a bit. You can also use like shock cord. You can get shock cord for the new one if you want to really be light, but you want it on your head. Usually I'll just, unless I know I'm going to be hiking at night, I'm just going to take the light itself. So there you go. Other options around camp. You know, some people like lanterns and things like that. Those are heavy. Take them camping, but not necessarily backpacking. You can make kind of your own lantern just by taking the headlamp and putting it against the smart water bottle, and that kind of diffuses the light, which is pretty cool. Give it a try. I do that. It's something I picked up a while back, like many years ago, is this Luci light. This is an inflatable lantern, and it's solar powered. A little gimmicky, a little bit heavy, definitely compared to that, but way lighter than regular lanterns. If you want a lantern, if you like that ambiance, something to read by that's not really bright light, and you don't want to make a smart water bottle lantern, these are kind of cool, actually. So I'm going to blow this up. All right, so not like an air mattress, so it doesn't take a lot. Again, this is inflatable and it floats. And if you put it in a river, it'll float right away. It does charge by solar, and that's pretty much, as far as I can tell, the only way it charges. And this has been in my closet for several years, and I wouldn't expect it to work, and yet it does. So actually kind of cool. So I used to keep this in my tent, and I would read or whatever at night, and just kind of a cool little thing. So if you want a little lantern, it's kind of a cool idea. I would consider it a luxury item. You know, some of that extra weight you take for something you don't necessarily need. So I don't really have any other options to present to you for lights. These are things that I have. I use the headlamp pretty much all the time. Oh, by the way, this does this. Different, yeah, gets a little brighter. Does a little flashy thing if you want to have a little like dance party in your tent. So those are options I have. Again, take a light. It's a short video. There's not a lot to say, but it's something we didn't talk about before. So I would feel really bad if you got out there and you only just took whatever I said you need and I didn't tell you you need a light. So there's your lights. And if there's anything essential that I've forgotten as far as gear goes that you need backpacking, I can't think of it. If you think of it, leave me a comment below. And now, hopefully, you have or have plans to get everything you need as far as gear goes. So then we're going to talk about what else you need to get out there. Knowledge and skills, stuff like that, and how to plan a trip. So we've come a long way in a short time. I really appreciate you guys watching. It means a lot, and I will see you next time.